Good evening. I'm reporting to you because a very serious crime has been committed against an elderly woman, but also a sickly woman. A crime which is so sadistic, so evil, so imaginatively brutal that as I sit here and report this to you, I am making it a promise to you, to myself, and to God that this will not go by unnoticed. I will tell you what has happened, and then I will tell you what I am going to be doing about this. Let me read to you the article that has been uncovered. And this is a crime between a woman who lives in Whitby, Ontario by the name of Elaine Arbeau and a bingo company in Pickering, Ontario by the name of Delta Bingo. An Ontario woman who was battling lung cancer, who breathes through a hole in her neck, was removed from the local bingo hall because her breathing hole wasn't covered with a mask, her son says. Elaine Arbeau doesn't go out much anymore, her son says, unless it's to play at a casino or bingo hall with her friends. According to her son, the 67-year-old woman was excited to see her friends again when Delta Bingo in Pickering, Ontario reopened following the the Chinese virus shutdown. That's me saying Chinese virus. But things didn't go as planned when she arrived earlier this month. When she got inside, management asked her to get out. Quote, she was told to leave by management if she did not cover up the hole in her neck. Her son, Joe Gilbert, told CTV News, Toronto, on Sunday. She explained that that was impossible to do. That's how she breathes. She doesn't have nose capabilities. This is a whole different way of breathing. It's through her neck. A hole in her neck. If you wrap that up, you are literally killing her. Gilbert said his mother was embarrassed and didn't want to create a scene, so she voluntarily left. He says when she got in the parking lot, she started to cry. My mom was beside herself and floored, Gilbert said, adding that his mom felt humiliated by the situation. Gilbert said when the manager saw Arbeau crying in the parking lot, she decided to allow her back in, but at that point, she refused. My mother left, Gilbert said. She was too embarrassed. Gilbert said his mother went home and did some research on rules around the mask and felt that she was treated wrongly, which she was. She decided to go back to the bingo hall this Saturday to try and enter, but didn't make it past the front door before being stopped. They told her, you cannot come in here unless you have that hole in your neck covered, Gilbert said. Arbeau, who recorded the interaction with Delta Bingo employee, was given the company's head office phone number and told to get out. In the video, the employee tells Arbeau the bingo hall is private property and they can mandate any rules they want. She struggles to tell the employee that she believes she has a right to be there, but is still denied entry. Gilbert said her mother went home in tears and feels strongly that she's being discriminated against. What they did was wrong. Gilbert said, the hole can't be covered. And because that's how she breathes, she doesn't breathe through her mouth or her nose. If you cover it, you might as well take away someone's life support. Non-medical masks are mandatory in Durham region with commercial establishments, but there are exceptions. There are exceptions. And I can't read this anymore. I can't read this anymore. I can't read this anymore! something is going to be done. That's all I can tell you guys. Something is going to be done. I can promise you that. Something is going to be done about this establishment. I am planning to do an interview there. I'm not going to hurt anybody. You saw my violent reaction just now, but I'm not going to hurt anybody. I will do an interview there. And I will embarrass them on camera. I don't know what they will do. They may even try to arrest me if they tell me to leave, and I'm not going to leave until I feel that I've done enough to embarrass them on camera. But in my little way, I'm going to get justice for this woman. And anybody who stands in my way, God help them. It is true that it is a private establishment. But it's like it's Jim Crow against the sick, against the old. If they can deny people who cannot abide by this evil law to literally cover up a hole in her neck, she can't breathe through her nose or her mouth, but to cover up the hole in that neck of yours is how they said it, in such a violent way. And then say, well, it's private property. Well, if you can do that to an old sick woman, who's to say you can't do that to black people, or to Chinese people, or to Muslims, or to Jews? What's to stop them from having a sign up that says no blacks allowed, no Chinese allowed, no Jews allowed, no niggers allowed, no Irish people, no wetbacks allowed, no Indians allowed? They basically can put up a sign that says, old farts, get the hell out of our establishment. Old farts who are suffering from cancer. You cancer-ridden, disease-ridden, old, dirty, stinky, smelly farts. Get out of our store. Get out. Get out. They should put up a sign that says, old farts with that are so sick they have to breathe through their neck. You crippled, old, dirty idiots, you crippled old people, get out of our store. You cripples, get out. We don't want cripples in here. And if you don't get out, we'll probably kill you. You cover up that hole in your neck. I don't give a damn if it kills you. You cover it up, you crippled old lady, and if you don't, get out. She said that she didn't want to cause a scene. I think she was mistaken. You see, this is the problem with Canadians that I don't like. They don't want to cause a scene. Especially English-speaking, Anglophone white Canadians. They just don't want to make a scene. I mean, if this was in Quebec, there'd be a scene. But the English, the Anglophone Canadian that doesn't want to make a scene, she had to stand. She should have stood up to her for herself. But I'm going to do it. I have no qualms about making a scene. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to damage any property. I'll tell you, Patriots, can I be honest with you? I was very tempted to do something to that establishment that would have landed me in big trouble. I was this close to deciding to take a few days off of work, going down to Pickering, which is very close to where I live. It's in the same area where I live. Going down to Pickering and throwing a cinder block through one of their windows. But you know, why? I decided I'm not going to do that. I have a big medium which can bring attention to these things far better than doing something like that can. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm at the point where my patience are running out, but at this point, I'm going to use Arana Nation as much as I can. I'm going to do it. I have a medium. Now, if you take Arana Nation away, that's when things will start getting ugly. YouTube, that's when, if you want to see violence worse than Black Lives Matter and Antifa could ever do, you take Arana Nation from me. Because at this point, my anger and my enragement is getting to a point which is actually quite pathological. I was thinking of taking a cinder block and throwing it into the window. But I'm not going to do that. I promise you I'm not going to do that. I will go over there and I will make my way in there with a mask. I'll take it off when I get in and I will interview as much as I can and I will do as much footage as I can and then I'll hightail it out of there. Now, could I get arrested? Yes. Could I get hurt? Yes. But I think that Canada, I think that Toronto, I think that Ontario needs to know that there is someone out there who is just as determined to not let these people get away with this. I hear this thing about, oh, well, it's a private business. There are actually laws against that, you know. Private business can refuse service. So, yeah, there may be exemptions to the rules. Oh, if you have a health condition, fine, you can't wear the mask, but you can't enter. Well, that's like saying, well, if you have we discriminate against people who have health issues. We are discriminatory again. Instead of accommodating them, we just discriminate against them. We are anti-handicap. And you know, there are actually laws against that. That's like saying to someone with a wheelchair, you either have to walk to get into this establishment or you just don't enter. We are not going to build no damn wheelchair ramp for your crippled legs to climb up. We're not going to do it. You either climb those stairs or get out. That's what they're saying. Then there are laws against that. Now, can you imagine if that were to have happened? That whole bingo establishment were to be shut down. So they broke the law. This goes against Ontario's with Disabilities Act. And Ontario, the province of Ontario, is, I believe, one of the only provinces to have such a law, rightfully so. We have laws against discriminating against the disabled. She's disabled. She's disabled. And y'all threw her out because she could not act in a way that somebody who is healthy can act. That's like saying, if you cannot come into this establishment with the stairs, go on, get out of here. We don't want to accommodate you. And these are things that I'm going to bring to the attention of the management. They don't have a phone number where you can talk to anybody. I tried that, but they need to hear that message. They need to hear that message, and they need to hear it in front of an audience. So Delta Bingo, Arana Nation has declared war on you. This is the Arana Nation.